Arshad Saab, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Can I please also invite Mr. Mehzad Sahar, Group Head for InfoSec at Engro? Mehzad, welcome on stage, please. Can I also invite Mr. Asad Effendi, Founder and CEO of Secure Networks, please, to kindly come on stage for the panel? Mr. Khwaja Tanveer Salim, IT Leader for United Energy Pakistan. Khwaja Tanveer Saab. Okay. I think Khwaja Saab is not feeling well. So we've got...
So unfortunately, we got late, and one of our key panelists, Chairman Nepra, has to leave because of some other important assignment. Nepra is yet, or do we have any visibility on any guidelines which are being provided, or any plan for any regulations?
So, power or energy sector perspective from NEPRA, there is a kind of directive guidelines available for cyber security, but they are, I will still say, at the foundation level, and they are talking about very basic ingredients and very obvious foundation level things. Although OT cyber security, to be honest, it's a totally different animal, and we can't gauge this the way we gauge this using payment or financial industry security requirement. So as I said, this is a special area. Even globally, there are standards which are not typical ISO 27001 or this type of security framework. There are global standards and framework like IE 62443. So for example, in UK, you can't launch any plant unless you go through this framework. So you'll have to certify your plant. And they are in very much in detail, because in OT, you don't talk about CIA. Here, actually, you talk about A first, which is availability, then integrity, and finally, confidentiality. So the overall equation is, what I want to say, is change. Also, the technology is not a typical IT technology. So if any local framework talk about, the typical SOC or risk management, that language will not work. It's required, as I said, a different framework. I can give you example. In the current guidelines, for example, it is talking about that all power sector should have SOC, Security Operations Center. But Security Operations Center, for IT perspective, yes, we may have. And practically speaking, all of our national power agencies, forget OT SOC, they don't have even IT SOC. And here we are talking about OT SOC, which itself is a journey. So first of all, they need to create a visibility about a foundation level IT perspective threats through their SOC. Having such visibility, then they can plan for OT level, SOC. So there is a complete, I will say, a journey is required, a complete roadmap is required, which is adopted by companies like us or K Electric, but still there is a big demand to make it more systematic, yeah.
So, Razi, I would ask you this follow-up question.
Just want to add one example here to show the value of cybersecurity. RasGas is adding 60% of the revenue of the overall country of Qatar. So 2-3 years back, they were under cybersecurity attack. And as far as they were having the OT specific cybersecurity monitoring center, they were able to capture on timely manner a threat which was about to materialize, but it was avoided. And the threat was that all of your command and control center, they were showing right value for the pressure, for the boiler, for the mixture. But actually in reality, the integrity of these dashboard was compromised. So all of these command and control center staff was relaxing, but in the at the back end, they were about to be compromised. But this was detected by solution providers. So there are solution providers which are beyond typical OEM, and they are compatible with all known OEM, and they know these non-IT, which are like typically more than 100 customized protocol. And based on that, they were able to detect that actually the boiler or the pressure is not what we are watching, because someone took the control of the security control. So the security control, which was supposed to tell you whether you are in trouble or not, that was first compromised by a hacker. But because of the OT security operation center capability using a specific vendor, they were able to catch this and avoid a big loss for the overall country, because it is contributing 60% of their country level revenue. So we need to really understand, it could be once in a blue, in a blue moon time, but if it happen, it has a lot of catastrophic and reputational damage, and also it may impact human life also. Yeah, thanks.
So, Razi, in the last, as you said, in the last 3 years, you people have done a good job as far as improving your security postures are concerned. And as Mr. Mehzad also said that right now we have an issue as far as availability is concerned, what to talk about confidentiality. But I can flip that thing and say that these because of any reason, right now we are having a load shedding in the entire country.
All these tools and everything is only as good as the people and intellectual sort of in a capital which is there, and what is the advocacy from the leadership. And I think we are very fortunate on that.
I would like to add one thing here. So overall, basically a kind of awareness is required, special awareness for OT perspective. So whether it is for IT or for plant management, plant staff, instrument engineer, and IS. And I have seen even there are good track, there are companies globally available where actually they offer foundation level OT cybersecurity training, which is applicable for all. But then they have a specialized OT cybersecurity training just to design your OT plant, keeping in mind cybersecurity as top priority. Second thing is a course which is only talking about the operational angle of the plant, while again keeping cybersecurity in as their number one priority. And the third thing is assessment perspective. Like someone should be able, so before plant have a major change, before it go live, it should go through a typical OT cybersecurity assessment. So those training tracks are available, and if similar to CISSP and other specialized training, then you become, the hi-fi OT cybersecurity consultant or specialist after attaining all these different angles. So I think the time has come, rather than thinking in the air, a systematic approach where all different audience, starting from grassroots level, normal employees, technical staff, engineers. And by the way, there is a last thing I would like to mention. There is a different mindset. Usually the IT people, all over banks and technology company, but for the OT perspective, these are engineers, typical engineers having 20-year experience, and they have their own direction and they have their own mindset. Cybersecurity, because of IT and OT conversion, it is a new topic for them. So we need to also educate them about this convergence and the threats applicable and the type of right training to actually elevate their security maturity level. Yeah.
This is absolutely spot on.
We are just having last 2 minutes.
I'll take 30 seconds on this point because this is very important what Mr. Mehzad mentioned in the end. The people dealing with these OT technologies are engineers with very limited background on how the IT operates. And that is where the awareness part and the human development part comes in with the huge challenges. I mean, if you look at the architecture of an OT environment. There you have level 0 where you have these PLCs and RTUs, and then in the level 1 you have these SCADA systems and the all the human machine interfaces. Then on top you have the control systems, and all these systems, none of our IT guys or the people who have been graduated from computer science, they understand these technologies. So when we were developing the human capital for this, it was really difficult for us to have our IT resources get into the cybersecurity discussion with an engineer who has no knowledge of the IT, and this guy has no knowledge of the core infrastructure of for the design of. But we have done a lot of work on that, and I think yes, this is what we need. We need engineers who understand IT and cybersecurity, and we need cybersecurity experts who understand this whole architecture.
Thank you very much, Mehzad Sahab, Razi Sahab, Asad Sahab. And we would really like to carry this discussion in the form of some recommendations to NEPRA to provide our inputs so that we can move forward and bring these issues and what cybersecurity threats we are facing and will face. And we cannot continue like this. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mehzad, thank you, sir. Sir, welcome. Thank you. Check. Sound. All right. So we have